And we are live once again. Okie dokie, we are now live, I believe. Awesome. Just pop that on the side there. Hello, liquid folk. Hope we're all doing well out there. And give a little bit of time for some people to arrive. Don't know if anyone else has noticed, but the weather seems to be getting ever so slightly. Now, I'm gonna touch some wood just off camera here. But the weather does actually seem to be getting a little bit warmer out there. A little tiny bit. It's kind of a bit overcast today, but I've noticed it's gotten a little bit warmer. I'm hoping you guys are feeling that too. I swear spring's got to be here soon. Just give it a little bit of time for some people to arrive. Hope everybody's doing well on this Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. So just so you know, we're doing it again live from the COVID living room. Yeah, we are still doing our best at Liquid HQ to abide by the sort of the rules and regs. Obviously, we know that the government has said we can now start to relax things again. However, obviously, with us being a sort of big manufacturing plant and we're producing lots of things that you guys are going out there to consume, we want to make sure we're being extra safe. So those of us like myself who can still work from home are being encouraged to do so, and most of us are doing that, which is just helping keep risk to a minimum and keep everyone healthy, happy and safe. Okie dokie. Well, I'm gonna get straight into it because I'm conscious that some of my previous videos we have these sort of these long bits of silence at the start. So I'll try and keep things a bit more interesting for those people who will watch this after it's gone live, so they'll just have to sit here looking at me, sort of being awkward. But yeah, so obviously this month is actually quite an important month for the LGBTQ plus community. It's LGBTQ plus History Month. Which I believe was started in the early 90s by a chap in America. And obviously, you know, the clue is in the name. It's all about a time. It's a time to sort of reflect and think about all of the challenges in the history and the sort of trials and tribulations that the LGBTQ plus community have overcome in their sort of social rights struggle through the years. Obviously, things are in a much better place for that community now, although there is still a lot of work to be done. And obviously, as you guys know from our Stonewall campaign last year, the Sweet Rainbow campaign, where we donated a portion of the sales to the Stonewall charity. Obviously, we here at Liquid, we're all about inclusion. It's a big part of our CSR policy. And yeah, we're big backers of the LGBTQ plus community, and we hope that any LGBTQ plus members of the Liquid community enjoy the fact that we're fighting their corner, and yeah, we like to keep things open and inclusive here at Liquid. So yes, it is LGBTQ plus History Month, and we all here at Liquid fully encourage you to embrace the spirit of that season and, you know, have a little think about the struggles and the things that have been overcome by these people, just to try and live an equal life like many of us get to enjoy without a second thought. So yeah, it does make you think a little bit. Another announcement that I'd like to make on this video, just to make everyone aware. Obviously, you guys will be pretty used to the fact that all of our 10ml e-liquid products come with white caps on them. Those are now actually going to be changed over to black. That doesn't make any difference whatsoever to the rest of the bottle, and especially not to the liquid inside. That's still the same great quality that you've come to know and love, so no big shakes there. Literally, it is just a superficial change to a black coloured cap. Now, the reason we're doing that is because some other ranges that we produce feature black caps, and by making this change, it means we are now just using one black cap for everything we produce across the board, which comes with some nice benefits. It means that, oddly enough, while it may sound a little counterintuitive, it reduces the amount of stopping and starting we have to do in between production runs for our machines. Now, that actually enables us to operate more efficiently, which allows us to actually save energy in the long run. So there's a nice little ecological bonus to using just the black caps there. We're also able to make stock more readily available for you guys. Now, I know that's something that will probably sound good to you guys, because we've recently sort of just coming out of the back end of a period where we have had some stocking issues for XYZ reasons that I've been through a few times in the other videos. videos that I've gone on and done for you. So yeah, we're hoping that by switching to black caps, it's going to enable us to operate a lot more efficiently, and it means that we can make sure that the lines you guys want remain in stock all the time. So yes, so that's something we're working towards. But please do be aware that over the next few weeks, we're going to be phasing out the remaining stock we've got of the white caps, and we're going to be introducing the black caps. They're exactly the same. They look the same. They function in the same way. They've still got that little tamper evidence seal there. And that's literally it. So yeah, nothing to worry about there. Just please be aware that you might start to see some black capped bottles appearing in amongst some white caps in your orders if you do place larger orders, as we start to phase the white ones out altogether, and eventually you will start seeing black caps on all of the 10mm products. Short fills and things like that are going to remain unchanged. It's just affecting the 10mm stuff. But yeah, just to make you guys aware of that, it's nothing to panic about. It's just a simple change we've decided to make to help us be a bit more efficient, be a bit more ecological, and hopefully help you guys always have access to the stock that you're after. So yes, okie dokie. Okay, we've got a little question that's popped up there. Smart Chef, thank you for your question. Some of the new batches of liquid is so hard to pour and squeeze out compared to before. Okay, so this is I'm glad you're the first question to pop up here today while we've been live, and I'm actually glad you have, because there's quite a few people have been asking about the bottles. Now, sorry, I'm just pulling up to the other questions that we've had sent through on our posts this week that we've put out before this video. I've got all your questions on here. Let me just pull up the post, because I know there are a few of you and I want to address you all at the same time while I'm doing this. Okie dokie. So yourself there, Smart Chef. And we've also got a chap here called Aston McRae, who's asked quite a few questions, but he's also asked about why the bottles have suddenly become tough to squeeze. Sarah Lewis has also agreed with Aston on that one, saying that she's also noticed the bottles have started to get a bit tough. We've also got Matt Lawton, who had commented, asking again that some of these new bottles are unbelievably tough. No more quick refills, he says, which is obviously something we're quite sad to hear. Mike Bourne also pointed out, have we changed bottle supplier? They're very hard to squeeze. And also TJ Spinalot, great name, TJ, great name, that's awesome. The same as others have mentioned, can you do something about the toughness of the bottles? Some of them are seriously hard to squeeze now. You guys might be aware that on some of the other videos, we've had similar questions about the toughness of the bottles, and I did say that if we keep getting complaints raised about these stiff bottles, then we're definitely going to be looking into it. Now, as you guys may or may not be aware, we have changed over our bottle supply to a 100% recycled PCR PET version. This is something that I'm sure you guys are possibly aware of now. There's been some blogs and some communications that have gone out on socials and emails and things like that, so I'm hoping you guys are mostly aware of that change we've made. Now, part of that change included a little variance, a potential for variance in colour between bottle batches. Obviously, because it's 100% recycled material, sometimes those materials vary ever so slightly, so when they're remade into the new bottles that we can use, they are subject to a little bit of colour change. Now, unfortunately, that same change does also impact the tensile strength of the bottle as well. So, while it's obviously not ideal, it is an semi-unavoidable side effect of the recycled nature of the bottle. However, we are working with our suppliers right now to make sure that these batches become a bit more standardised. We know that certain colour changes have shocked and surprised you guys a little bit, and of course some concerns that obviously we don't want you guys to be worrying about anything you're buying from us. And I'm definitely going to make sure that we follow up on this and make sure that all of you guys that have raised this point with me here today and on the week leading up to this video, that it gets addressed, because you guys aren't the first people to have mentioned this, and I feel like we've had certainly enough people now to warrant taking this further. So I'm going to speak with our guys behind the scenes and see what I can do to chase up a potential solution. I can't promise anything, but I will do everything I can to try and find out if we can do anything to sort of get these bottles back to the way you guys are used to them, a bit easier to squeeze, because the last thing we need is you guys struggling with the product out there. Okie dokie, so yes, so that's the tough bottles. Sincere apologies for those of you that have been struggling with the bottles. Obviously, it's not something we want. We are trying to sort of be as ecological as we can with the recycled bottle scheme. But yeah, obviously, the last thing we want is for that to have a serious negative impact on your experience with us. So please do bear with us for the time being and know that we are looking into it in the background to try and get that sorted. Okie dokie, let's see, we've got a few other questions that have popped up here. Thank you guys for being here. Use a pair of nail clippers and snip 1 to 2 mil from the tip of the nozzle. Nightmare. Message about the same thing. Okie dokie. Had some issues with the cap squashing the filler, hence also causing problems with the filling, then needing to snip off the damaged end. This is something I wasn't actually personally aware of. They're having some issues there with caps being squashed down. Nibs even being squashed down by the caps and making it a bit difficult, and you guys are having to trim a little bit off the top. Okie dokie. Now that's obviously not a good thing to hear. I will look into that and I'll make sure that there's not some sort of issue going on down there in production. Obviously, the way the machines work is as they go along the lines, the nib and the cap are all inserted separately by the machines, and they're all set up to do it in just the way that it's done correctly, and you guys end up with a properly sealed product that isn't bent, damaged or anything like that. Every so often in the past we have had the odd incident where a nib's been squashed or something like that, because obviously, as I'm sure as you guys understand, nothing is 100% perfect 100% of the time, but I will definitely look into that as well, and just make sure that the guys in our quality control teams are being extra careful to check for that, because we definitely don't want you guys having to trim things down and faff about like that. That's not good at all. So my sincere apologies that a few of you guys there, Glyn, Smart Chef again, and Phil Brownsword, yeah, we'll look into that for you and see if we can't do something about that nib issue, because that's not great. So yeah, my sincere apologies about that. Okie dokie, so just getting onto some of the other questions that have been sent through, because genuinely you guys have sent through loads of questions this time, which is awesome to see. Thank you so much for getting involved. Aston McRae, I'm going to get through some of yours, Aston. I don't know if you're out there watching live or if you might pick this up later, but if you do, thank you so much for sending all these questions through, bud. It's great that, you know, whether it's, you know, good news, bad news, any question at all, like, we're just glad to have you here and have you engaging with us, so, you know, please do keep it coming. Okay, why can't I find a way to... Okay, so loyalty points. I feel I need to address this one before anything else as well, because Ashton, once again, much like the stiff bottle issue, has raised a question of struggling to use his loyalty points, especially when making an order on his phone. He says it's not in the checkout section. Now, there are 1 or 2 others of you that have been struggling with the points still. The points issue is something we've been aware of since the back end of last year, when a few of you guys started asking questions about how they were able to redeem the points against the purchases, etc., and they were struggling to see where the points were, and especially on the mobile view, which obviously we're aware most of you guys will be placing orders through mobile view. Most people, I think it's something like 70% of all browsing is done, if not more, is now done on mobile rather than a desktop. Yeah, here we go. So Angela Dodd had also asked the same question: how do I use my loyalty points? It's not on the checkout. And you keep sending me the emails to use them. Yes, yeah, we do like to remind you guys to use your points so you can make sure you're getting the most out of your account and your loyalty with us. But yeah, so firstly, apologies for the confusion over the loyalty points. That still seems to be persisting with a few of you guys there. It isn't the most obvious thing in the world. I appreciate that. We are still, as I said in the last videos, obviously there's a lot of technical work going on in the background right now to improve your user experience with us on the Onepoundeliquid site, and the loyalty points is definitely a big part of that. Right now, if you're on the mobile view, when you complete your order, and again, I appreciate this isn't super obvious, when you get to the order confirmation section, you see your order summary. When the order summary is there, if you actually look up, there is a little drop-down tab that you can tap on, and if you actually tap on that, pull that down, then that actually reveals the slider for you to use your points. It's not the most obvious thing in the world. I hold my hands up, you know, I can only apologise for that, and that is still the current system. So if you are on mobile view and you have been there we go, Aston McRae's here. No worries, man. I'm glad you're here to get your answers from the horse's mouth. But yeah, so yeah, it's on that order summary bit. There's a little drop down you can tap, and it brings down. Then that'll actually reveal the point slider and allow you to redeem the points against that order. Please do give that a go. If you're still really struggling, then by all means, pop back and reply to your comment on this video and let me know that it's not worked. Or equally, if you do genuinely raise this with our customer service team, I know that sounds like a bit of a cop-out, but the guys are great. They work really hard to make sure that you guys get all of the answers and solutions you need, and they are really used to solving these loyalty points issues now as well, because as I said, you guys aren't the first to have experienced one or two difficulties trying to redeem the points. So please do speak to the CS team if you've got the time, and they will be able to walk you through end to end everything you need to do, and they'll be able to get you set back up and sorted again. So please do keep that in mind if you are still struggling. And for now, accept my apologies, and try and bear in mind on the mobile view, it's up at the top there, kind of hidden away. So, okie dokie. Aston, another question you've got here. Why do I regularly get e-liquids that I haven't ordered? A couple of orders ago, received RY4 or something instead of Black Ice Menthol. It was horrible. So I imagine it would be if you were looking for Black Ice Menthol and you got RY4, which is caramel tobacco. So, yeah, no, my sincere, genuinely, I can't apologise enough for anyone who's ever received an order with an incorrect product in it. Picking errors are something that we work really hard to keep to a minimum. Obviously, we get loads and loads of orders through, and our guys down there in the warehouse work super hard constantly all day long, picking and packing hundreds of orders a day, with all kinds of products, as you can imagine. Now, I know that isn't an excuse. Human error is obviously something that is unavoidable in all walks of life. However, we do have a load of systems in place, and we are working on more to make sure that the number of incorrectly picked orders is kept to an absolute minimum. Obviously, we would love to make sure that every single order was 100% correct 100% of the time, and that is something we will always keep working towards. For those of you that have unfortunately received an incorrect item before, obviously I hope you immediately got onto the customer service team about the issue, because we will always make sure that gets corrected afterwards, and make sure that you're seen right and that you receive the correct products. And again, just please bear with us on that. It's something that we're always working on to improve. And yeah, that is literally, that is why, Aston, you'll have received the odd incorrect product in that order there, is just because it's down to simply human error. And we can only hold our hands up and apologise for that. Your final question, Aston. So I've done all of yours then. Now for a general question: what's the difference between normal and high VG e-liquids? The only difference I've noticed is it's slightly different taste and burns my coil out quicker. So it's a great question. So there is actually quite a significant difference between high VG e-liquids and standard ones. The high VG ones. But I mean, the clue is kind of in the name. So, as you may or may not be aware, an e-liquid is made up of sort of 4 primary ingredients. It's PG, propylene glycol; VG, it's vegetable glycerol; nicotine, be that standard free-base nicotine or nicotine salt; and flavourings, like whatever combination of flavourings you want. But those are the sort of 4 primary components. And obviously, to create the different types of e-liquids you guys see out there, you blend them in different ratios to achieve different things. So obviously, like I've just said, if you want a nic salt, you would use nicotine salt as your nicotine base rather than free-base nicotine. In the case of a high VG product, you have a much higher volume of VG, the vegetable glycerol, in that recipe, as opposed to PG. So like your normal 50-50 style e-liquids that come in that sort of full 0 to 18 milligram nicotine strength, they're called 50-50s because generally they have a pretty much half and half even split between the PG and the VG components. I should probably mention that the nicotine and the flavourings are typically suspended in PG as well, so you do the maths behind the scenes and it all adds up to about 50-50. The VG aspect of an e-liquid is the largest contributor to the cloud and sort of those big voluminous like plumes of vapour that obviously you see coming out of the bigger devices and the big sub-ohm stuff. So a high VG e-liquid is designed for those big, powerful sub-ohm devices, and is designed, when vaped, to produce a massive cloud. It tends to deliver a little bit more flavour as well, because you're naturally getting a massive, a much bigger volume of vapour across your tongue than you would be if it was like a standard 50-50. An important thing to remember, especially if you're finding that your coils are burning out a little bit quicker, if you're not using a sub-ohm device, but you are using high VG liquid, that can sometimes impact your coil lifespan, because obviously it kind of goes without saying that a coil for a lower powered device that's intended for 50-50 e-liquids is going to perform better if you use it with a 50-50 e-liquid. They've got like smaller wicking ports, so they don't absorb that. If you put a thick high VG liquid in a smaller tank with a little 50/50 coil with tiny little wicking ports, it struggles to absorb it as easily as it does a thinner 50/50 e-liquid, which can much more easily flow into those smaller ports. As a result of that, dry burn is more common because sometimes, you know, if you're ripping on it loads, like you might be used to ripping on it from doing it at 50/50 style and knowing that the flavour's always there and it's readily absorbing into the coil. But if you've put a high VG in that for a change, it might not absorb into it as quickly as you expect, and therefore you might pull on it and it's not soaked in yet and you end up with a dry burn, which is obviously unpleasant, and could be, you know, a bit of a contributing factor as to why your coils might be burning out a little bit quicker if you've been using the high VG stuff. It's also worth pointing out that high VG flavours, not all of them, but some of them have additional sweeteners. Like we use very, very low amounts of sucralose in one or two of our high VG flavours. Now that's a perfectly normal way to just improve and round off the flavour profile. However, things like that do have a slight negative impact on coil lifespan. It's kind of an unavoidable thing. They clog up your coil a little bit more the longer you use them, and they can cause them to deteriorate a bit more. But those are just some of the key differences between high VG and 50/50. But the main thing to remember is whichever one you're using, try and match the e-liquid to the device you're using, and generally that will help you have a more sort of, you know, stable vaping experience with less burny coils and nasty stuff that we don't like. You're very welcome, Ashton. I'm glad I've been able to answer those for you, buddy. So let me have... Oh, good, Glyn Hood as well. You took the recommendation of lemon pie from last week. Awesome. I'm really glad you enjoyed that. That's nice to see. Just checking here because there's a few questions that have been popping up. I'm going to make sure I get all of you guys answered. Okie dokie. Michael Hayward, have you any plans for introducing new vape kits in the foreseeable future? Exciting question, because we all love some new hardware, especially me. But yeah, so the good news is, I know that you guys are probably aware that the hardware selection on the website hasn't changed for a little while, and one or two of those items have been out of stock, in some cases for a little while now. Again, sincere apologies for this. As you guys know, and I've been bleating on at you about for the last few videos now, we have been experiencing all kinds of weird delays in terms of shipping, be that at the behest of Brexit, COVID, all manner of odd delays, you know, people gluing themselves to highways to protest insulation, lots of things like that. There's been lots of interesting things going on in society and out there in the wider world that have been unfortunately having a few knock-on impacts for us guys, and it's been making it a little bit hard to progress things in the way that we want to. But the good news is the hardware selection and vape kits on our website will be getting revamped. I cannot promise you exactly when that's going to be. It's almost certainly going to be this year. We are working with some new suppliers in the background to establish what we want to include in the range, so we can offer you guys just, you know, some really, really good quality kits from some really, really good, reliable brands that you guys know and love and trust. Because at the end of the day, we want to put the best stuff out there for you guys that are suited to the products we sell and that can help you on your vaping journey and just, you know, give you something nice and new to play with. So please bear with us. New hardware will be coming. Like I say, can't promise exactly when yet. You're just going to have to take my word for it right now, which I hope is enough for the time being. I'd always try and be super honest with you guys. But yes, yeah, please bear with us. New hardware is coming. We are looking at it. We've got plans for introducing new vape kits in the foreseeable future, Michael. So yes, that is good news. Sarah Lewis, when am I going to win a free year's worth of liquid? Keep trying, Sarah. Every time we offer that competition, please do keep getting involved. Anyone could win it. You guys saw the winners post around Christmas time, which was awesome, and we are going to keep doing things like that for you guys because we want to make the whole liquid experience as sort of fun and exciting as possible. And also for those of you that are, you know, kind and loyal enough to come and follow us here on Facebook and watch us on our socials, as well as just buying the products and enjoying the products, like, you know, we want to give you guys as much reason to keep doing that as possible. So yeah, please stick with us. It's going to be an exciting year as well, by the way. Like, you know, I can't give anything away, but some interesting things have been going on at Liquid HQ, and we're in a really good place to have a really exciting 2022. So please do bear with us and get on board for that. Martin Williscroft had asked me what happened to my favourite black tobacco. Now I'm gonna address a few of you at once here again, because again, out of stock flavours is a recurring issue over the last couple of videos. And I'm also aware it may seem like I've been copying you guys out a bit, because I've been saying we're doing everything we can in the background to make sure these lines get restored, and obviously certain ones still haven't been, so I would like to address that with you now. Let me just find these other guys that have also asked questions about that. So Steve Reynolds also asked about his Mango Ice High VG 6mg strength, which he's not yet seen come back in stock. And Richard Insole has also been asking about the Heisen High VG short fills, always seeming to be out of stock as well. And of course, you guys are all asking about when you think these flavours will be coming back in stock again. So essentially, the long and short of it is there are 1 or 2 lines at the moment, which, as you guys have been rightly picking up on, that are temporarily out of stock at the moment. They are not going to be reappearing in the immediate future. However, nothing's being called or discontinued just yet. There are just certain lines that we are keeping out of stock now. Part of the reason for that is because we're trying to work really hard in the background to make sure that the lines that you guys enjoy the most and our most popular and successful flavours are always in stock. So we're having to give priority production time to lines like that. Now, unfortunately, while that does mean certain products are out of stock at the moment, please do bear with us, as I know I keep saying, but please do, because we have a plan, and we've got a lot of things that are coming into action now that are going to hopefully help us address that and get things back to normal and to the way that you used to. So yeah, please do bear with us. There are a few flavours I know that are still out of stock. It's not likely that they're going to be turned around this week or next week, but just please bear with us, keep checking back, and we will try to restore normal service for everything just as soon as we possibly can. Let me just go through here. Okie dokie. So that's it. We've had a look at the all the questions there that you guys sent through on the earlier post. Now, we had an earlier post in the week. Yes, Albie Doyle, he was another chap who has asked about lemon and lime 18mg, what's happened to this? And he also asked about how the points work. To answer those again, so again, we've got a few lines that are out of stock at the moment, and we aren't able to replenish them as quick as we'd like, so please do just bear with us. We're doing everything we can to keep the most popular lines in stock. However, there are 1 or 2 sort of outlying SKUs that don't sell quite as well, that we're not able to give the priority treatment right now. But yeah, please do just bear with us on that. We are trying to get things back to normal. And he's also asked again about the points. So just to reiterate, just for those who may have missed it earlier in the video, who are now here live, the point system, albeit not the most obvious thing, is working. It is up and running. Albie, if you're out there, Albie, if you're out there. Oh, sorry, my phone's just shut down what I was looking at. Yeah, Albie, if you're out there, he seems to think he's got quite a lot of points by the look of it here. If you go into your account section, you can view the total number of points that you've actually got there in the personal details section of your account page. And to redeem those, when you place your order, if you're on mobile view, when you get to the order summary section, there should be a drop down at the top that you can click on, and if you click on that, it drops down and it reveals the point slider that will allow you to redeem those points against your products. And Albie, you have asked, what can I get for these? And basically you can redeem them against anything on site, basically. So if you want to buy some e-liquids, you can redeem your loyalty points against those, and you can get yourself some e-liquids with those loyalty points. So that is essentially the point of it. We wanted to do something to help you guys get an extra layer of satisfaction out of your liquid account. So yeah, Albie, good luck. I hope that answers your question, bud. Natalie, has strawberry menthol recipe changed? Does it taste different? No, I mean, I can confirm that the strawberry menthol recipe is the exact same as it's always been. I was remembering back, I think that might actually be one that I did back in the day, that when I was still in the lab, before I started doing all of this video stuff. But yeah, so no, the recipe hasn't changed since way back when. It is still the exact same. If you've noticed that there's a difference at the moment, please do make a note of the batch code that's on the label of your bottle there, Natalie, and please do raise it with the customer services team, because whenever we have an issue like this in terms of flavour, we keep... Oh, sorry, Natalie. Sarah's just popped up saying, did you answer my question? Yes, Sarah, I did answer your question. It's a little bit earlier in the video. Forgive me there, just 1 second. Yeah, as for you, yeah, you're going to have to keep trying for that year's free liquid, Sarah. Now you are here with us, and in terms of the bottles being hard to squeeze, that's an unfortunate side effect of them being. It's an unfortunate side effect of them being 100% recycled now. But quite a lot of you guys have raised the same issue, and we are looking into it in the background now to see if there's anything we can do with our supplier to try and get those bottles a little bit softer and a bit more squeezable. Right, Natalie, yeah, sorry, yeah. So the recipe hasn't changed for the strawberry menthol. Please do log it with the. Please do log it with the customer services team. We'll carry out a full investigation. We keep a sample of every single batch we make here, and it's kept in the lab just in case anything like this occurs. And what we'll basically do is we'll check your batch, we'll go through our system, pull the sample from that batch, and we'll do a full investigation. I will probably end up testing it myself because I'm sort of the company flavour guru, but we also have a number of strict safety protocols that it will have to go through to make sure that that batch meets all of the standards we expect to make sure that you haven't been sold something incorrectly. So please do raise that with the customer services team. We take those sorts of things really, really seriously when it comes to flavour being affected, and we want to make sure that you're getting the right product and that you're satisfied with it. So yeah, please do take it to the guys, and they'll deal with it properly for you. Yeah, keep trying, Sarah. I can't promise you'll win, but I promise you'll keep having a chance. Okie dokie. I got some more. No worries, glad that's all right for you, Natalie. And again, I am sorry that you've been disappointed with that most recent bottle. Just checking, I've not missed any more questions that have popped up here on the live feed. You will have to forgive me, guys. I don't think I'm ever going to be quite television level when it comes to this presentation stuff, but I do try my best for you. Okie dokie, so we had a few questions sent in via the DMs prior to the video, so let me just pull some of these up so I can get through those. Jonathan O'Donoghue had asked, he wants to know why we've made it so difficult to redeem the loyalty points. Really sorry that you're finding it really hard, Jonathan. I promise you that it wasn't by design, that we've made it challenging for you guys. As I've said, if you're struggling on mobile view, it's that little sneaky hidden drop down that isn't the most obvious that you need to tap on to pull up the slider to redeem those points. So please do give that a go. If you're on desktop and it's not obvious, because it's a lot more obvious on desktop when you to redeem your points when you place your order. If you're still having an issue and you really can't find a slider, or it's not coming up or not working for some reason, then please do take it through to the customer service team. They're the only guys who can help you properly and get you that end-to-end support. So, okie dokie. Someone's said the Liquid Pro is out of stock. What device do you recommend? Yeah, so firstly, for anyone who has been looking for a Liquid Pro by any chance, apologies. We had a sudden explosion in Liquid Pro sales, which is awesome, great problem to have, but we've not been able to replenish the stock yet due to a few shipping issues coming out of China, etc. So we are waiting for the Liquid Pro to be replenished currently. In the meantime, if you want something similar, I know that on the site we have the Aspire POC-X and the Aspire K3. The reason I'd say the K3 is a good alternative as well is because I have a sneaking suspicion the POC-X is currently out of stock as well on site. But please do have a look. The POC-X is a great alternative. That's a really popular kit as well. Loads of you guys have bought that. So yeah, the POC-X is obviously a winner, and the K3 is very similar. It's another Aspire device, which is they make great devices. Aspire, they seem to be really durable and dependable. I've had loads of them over the years myself, along with a few other things, and they've never really let me down. I can still remember my Colito tank being like my favourite high VG tank that I ever had. So yeah, give some of the Aspire pen kits that we've got there on the site a try, because those are really good alternatives to the Liquid Pro. Obviously, you won't have that cool rapid release coil thing, but we had to give you something unique with the old Liquid Pro there. We don't just put our stamp on anything. Someone else has asked, I love the loyalty points, it's been a great addition, desktop shows easy. Thank you, Sarah. It's actually really nice to hear that someone's been able to use them properly and has not found it too challenging, so that's really great to hear. And again, yeah, apologies to anyone who hasn't had an easier time of it as Sarah, but yeah, it's really good to see that it's actually working and that you're enjoying it, so you're very welcome. Someone's asked, can vaping stain my teeth? I think we've actually got an old blog on in the Vape Hub about this. But yeah, so it's a fair question. Obviously, most people are aware that cigarettes do stain your teeth. Christ, nicotine smoke, you know, does have a nasty habit of staining most things it comes into contact with. But thankfully, vaping is quite far removed from cigarette smoke. And it doesn't have anywhere near the levels of toxins, as we know from the famous 2015 Public Health England 95% less harmful thing. Yeah, basically, you stand very little chance of having your teeth stained by vaping, unless you're vaping something particularly nasty and caustic, which of course we don't sell. You're not likely to find that with any £1 e-liquid products that vaping our stuff is going to stain your teeth. Even at the higher nicotine strengths, it's not likely to have a major impact. You know, keep brushing your teeth twice a day like a normal person and you'll be absolutely fine. So yeah, no panic there in terms of staining your teeth with vape. Oh, this is a good question. Can I vape in the car while driving? Because a lot of people don't actually know, you know, where the law kind of sits in terms of that. In actuality, the police actually treats it much in the same way that they treat a cigarette. While obviously that you are encouraged to do everything you can to be in as much control of your vehicle behind the wheel at all times. You can, you know, as most of us know, people drive and smoke, people drive and vape. It's been largely left up to the discretion of the officer at the time. They're encouraged to use their judgment, but basically they are going to look at you and they're going to see if you're basically taking the mick or not. If you're driving along and you're just having a couple of puffs on a normal e-cig and it's going out of an open window and causing no one any bother, you're not likely to run a cropper with the coppers. But if you are puffing on a massive sub-ohm device with your windows up and you've basically hotboxed the inside of your car and turned it into just a giant cloud on wheels, then you're probably going to get pulled. That is you know, that is where the law draws the line. You need to be visibly still in total control of your vehicle, whether or not you're vaping. It's you know, very much the same as why you're not allowed to be on your phone. If you are going to vape in your car while you're driving, please keep the window down. Don't let it build up inside the vehicle. And if you can, turn the wattage down and, you know, try and use a slightly less obvious device if you're a big sub-ohm fan. Because, you know, it's like anything. The more attention you draw to yourself, the more likely you are that you're going to get a tug. And, you know, the police are going to ask you some questions and you could well get a fine or some points for dangerous driving. Because, obviously, if they see you going around with a massive cloud in front of your face and you're speeding down the main road, they're not going to be very happy with you. So, you know, don't invite the trouble, and you will be absolutely fine. Just be sensible, be safe, and of course respect the other road users at all times, because, you know, we're all just out there trying to get from A to B safely. Karen Bailey, bottle's so hard to squeeze now. Is this being looked at? Yeah. Sorry, yeah. I did mention it earlier, Karen, but you're absolutely well within your rights to raise it again, because you are not the first to ask the question, and it is something that we're going to look into. Quite a few of you guys have reported this issue now, the bottle's being tough to squeeze, and it's obviously something that is causing quite a lot of you some concern. So we're definitely going to do something about that in the background now. I cannot promise what the outcome will be. However, what I can promise is that we will speak to our suppliers and we will look into options to try and make sure that the bottle batches going forward will be a little bit easier for you guys to handle, whilst of course retaining that 100% recycled thing, because that's not something we'd like to go back on, as I'm sure you guys can agree on. Let's have a look here. How long does a 10ml bottle last? I go through them so quickly. Me too. So typically a 10ml bottle could last you anywhere from, you know, sort of 3 to 5 days if you're a very light user. It's very, very hard to quantify how long a 10ml bottle should last, because I don't think there is how long it should last, because it's up to you. It's how much you consume, and of course the device you use can make a massive impact on that. If you're using a huge sub-ohm device and you've only got 10ml of a high VGE liquid, you're probably going to burn through it really, really quickly, and you might find that 10ml only lasts you a couple of days. Hence why short fills are such a popular product option for sub-ohm customers, because it gives you the ability to buy in a bulk that actually lasts long. Yeah, there we go, 1 to 2 days for Sarah. So you see, this is it. Like, it all depends on how you use it, the liquid you're using, the device, and there's so many factors to consider. If you find you're getting through your liquid really quickly and you want to try and slow it down a bit, if you've got variable airflow, reduce that a little bit, turn your wattage down if you've got the ability to do that, and also just make sure that if you're using a sub-ohm device, use high VGE liquid. If you're using a 50/50 device, use 50/50 liquid, because that'll just keep everything running at a much more optimum level. But yeah, other than that, if you're concerned that you're consuming too much e-liquid, you might want to consider having a little look at your nicotine strength. You know, a lot of people, you vape like a 3 milligram high VG, thinking that's fine, and in reality, you might actually be vaping a hell of a lot more at 3 milligram than you would have been if you were just vaping a 6 or maybe even a 12. It all just depends what you need to satisfy your cravings, and if you really want to like reduce your intake, then sometimes actually increasing your nicotine level can help you do that, because you'll find you don't need to vape as much to be satisfied. But yeah, that's just one piece of advice. Um, Karen, you're very welcome. I'm glad. I hope the answer was all right for you, pal. Can I mix Nick salts with 50/50 liquids? Technically, yes. Should you? Probably not. So, obviously, it's the reality is mixing a 50/50 free-based nicotine-based e-liquid with a Nick salt e-liquid isn't actually going to cause you any harm. However, the issue comes in the fact that you're mixing a nicotine salt with standard nicotine. They are different for a reason, and if you want to have an optimum vaping experience, you want to just be sticking to one product type. You know, we've talked about mixing flavors in the past. If you've got like two 50/50s that are different flavors but the same strength, you can play around and, you know, mix away, make a new flavor if you fancy it. Like, you know, you can do that sort of thing, that's fine, but the key is to try and always keep your PG-VG ratios the same and your nicotine levels the same, because otherwise you just end up with all sorts of kind of funky stuff, and it's just a bit, you know, it's harder for your device, and it might end up with, it just opens you up to more risk of having a dissatisfactory vaping experience. So yeah, while it won't do you any harm, I wouldn't recommend mixing Nick salts with a standard freebase 50/50. I use the Endura vape pens. Hubby uses some of the beast of a vape and uses more than me. Yeah, no, he's no doubt. Anytime you're on those absolute beast devices, like, you just consume liquid like at a vast rate of knots. I'm a bit of a vaping butterfly, if you will. Like, I switch between like Nick salts, standard 50/50s, high VGs. Like, I'm on high VG at the moment. Again, back to a 3 milligram, but I've just spent my entire Christmas vaping 20 milligram Nick salt. So I'm always chopping and changing. And when you do that, you really do notice the difference. Like the Enduras that you're using there, Sarah, like, you can, you know, they sort of like, they're a bit more normal, bit more of a normal level device, and you can get some sort of normal consumption levels out of them. You start going bigger than that, and before you know it, you're burning through it for fun. What we got here? Do you remember the cloud range? It seems like forever ago. God, I do remember the cloud range. Does anyone else remember the cloud range? Cloud 1 through 5. Like, I think that was possibly our first ever high VG product offering. Actually, that was Christ. I've got none of those flavors are still available, and I dare say they had their time in the sun, and it was definitely time for them to go. But I don't know. I guess, do you miss the cloud range? If you miss the cloud range, drop your favourite cloud if you remember it in the comments. That'd be a nice trip down memory lane for some people. Remember Cloud 3, like a vanilla and wafers and coffee and stuff. That was a crazy flavour. Okie dokie. Well, that's all of the DM questions that came in. Sorry if it's getting a little bit darker in here as well as this video's going on. The heavens have just opened now outside, and what little sun there was is now gone, which is ironic because I started this video by saying, hey, don't you think the weather's been getting a bit better? Righty. Just making sure I've caught all of the questions here from you guys. I think I have. Awesome. Right, well, I have been here for long enough boring you guys now. Thank you so much for all of you that came and watched today. Thank you for all of the live questions we've been getting through. It's awesome. Like, I mean, it's fantastic to see how many more questions are coming through on the posts leading up to these videos, and it's fantastic to see how many of you are actually coming and now actually directly getting involved while I'm here on the video. It's awesome. Sunny in Torquay. Oh, Glyn, I am jealous. I am seriously jealous. Manchester is, as ever, giving us its absolute best beating. So sadly not as bright and sunny as Torquay, but please do enjoy it, and yeah, absorb a few rays for me, because it's miserable. But no, yeah, no, more comps, please, Sarah. We're on that. More comps will be coming, I promise you. We'll be doing some exciting stuff this year in 2022. So yeah, stick with us, and it's going to be a good one for comps, and lots of interesting ways for you guys to get involved and get creative with us. So yes, interesting things to come. But yeah, no, thank you so much again, guys. Awesome to see how many people are here and actually interacting with like with this, like you, Glenn, Sarah, like all the guys, all of you that have popped up and sort of been interacting today. This is really, really nice. We've been doing these videos for a while, and it's taken a while for it to sort of build up. But we're really glad that you guys still sort of still are starting to really get involved now, because you know we want that to be what we're all about here at Liquid. We're about you guys, the community, making sure you guys are happy and satisfied, and also making sure that you know when you have questions about our brand and our business, that there's a person here to actually answer them, because you don't really get that a lot these days. So yeah. Oh, thank you, Sarah. That's really sweet. Like it's always awesome. But yes, and we'll stalk the page. Cool. Well, we'll be watching out for you in the future then. I'll be very disappointed if you don't come next time now, you know. But no, so please do bear with us. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to love you and leave you now. Have a wonderful Friday. Take it easy.